Growing up, one of the amusement parks I visited the most was Six Flags New England. You know, that one random park in the Northeast with the crazy Intamin hyper coaster and one of the best RMCs? This park is really awesome and I have some of my best memories visiting here. However, within the past 7 years or so, something weird and sad has been happening to this park. When Six Flags first emerged from bankruptcy in the early 2010s, they began pumping large amounts of capital into the park in the form of large attractions such as huge flat rides and coasters. Throughout these years, Six Flags added huge investments to the park, such as Wicked Cyclone, the park's insane RMC hybrid coaster, the relocated giant Vekoma Boomerang Goliath, a relocated Wild Mouse, and the classic SNS 4D free spin clone, the Joker. That's on top the tallest Zamperla swing ride in the world, standing at 400 feet amongst several other smaller investments. It seemed like Six Flags was determined to make New England one of the best theme parks in the country, and for a short time Six Flags was paying New England a lot of attention. However, after 2017, this would all change. Fast forward to today, and New England is still doing pretty well for itself, but it no longer is one of Six Flags' priorities. Within 7 years, Six Flags New England went from being a solid top-tier Six Flags park to being a below-average level park which often gets overlooked. Within the last 7 years, New England received a total of 0 new coasters, but also within that 7-year period, they've removed 1 coaster. New England's growth was slowed down and the park may not be changing for the better. Six Flags New England is in huge trouble and I think the park's future is potentially in danger. It's not all that simple though, and Six Flags may be about to revive this park while they still can, but I'll get to that soon. Six Flags New England is one of the solid Six Flags parks. The park has a very solid coaster lineup of 11 coasters, and their top 2 are some of the best roller coasters in the country. The park's lakeside setting also makes it one of the more charming Six Flags parks around. Six Flags New England doesn't have much competition though. The only real amusement park anywhere nearby is Lake Compounce, which is about a 45-minute drive away. Lake Compounce only has 5 operating roller coasters, and the lineup is far worse than that of Six Flags New England. Lake Compounce is a solid park though, and it's the only form of competition New England really has. When Six Flags first purchased New England in 1998, they immediately began rapid investment into the park. In 2000, the park contracted Intamin to build Superman Ride of Steel, which went on to win the Golden Ticket Awards for Best Steel Roller Coaster in the world 5 times between the years of 2003 and 2009. Superman still remains one of the best attractions in the world, but after the restraints got switched, which is a story for another time, the coaster hasn't ranked as high for most people. The park also opened a Vekoma Boomerang that same year, which was called Flashback, as well as a small family coaster called Catwoman's Whip. Just 2 years, the park was already building another coaster. This time it would be from B&M though. On April 20th, 2002, Six Flags New England's brand new floorless coaster, Batman the Dark Knight, would open to the public. The coaster was very well received and the park would be back just 3 years later with another major addition. This time built by Gerslar, the park would open Pandemonium, a family spinning coaster which is still thrilling riders till today. The coaster would also come along with an awesome light package that really elevates the ride experience. 3 years later, in 2008, the park was again supposed to open a new coaster, continuing that trend of opening new coasters every 2 to 3 years. Permitting issues would eventually lead to the park canceling the Dark Knight themed indoor Wild Mouse attraction, which Six Flags would then send down to Mexico instead. Six Flags went bankrupt the following year, and it would be a bit longer than usual until the park got their next coaster. But in 2011, the park would open a relocated Wild Mouse that would prove to be the longest named coaster ever. The coaster was called Gotham City Gauntlet Escape from Arkham Asylum. Yeah, try saying that 10 times fast. The following year, the park would open another relocated coaster. This time it was the giant inverted Vekoma boomerang, which was called Goliath. This coaster was eventually removed 7 years later in 2019 though, due to maintenance and reliability issues. Continuing the park's trend of getting new coasters every 2 to 3 years, the park opened Wicked Cyclone in 2015. This would give the park an insane 1-2 punch and one of the best top 2 coasters in the country. Wicked Cyclone and Superman are both arguably still top 25 coasters in the US today. 2 years later in 2017 came the addition of the Joker 4D Free Spin. Six Flags New England had proved that they constantly open new coasters every 2 to 3 years. Ever since Six Flags purchased the park had never gone more than 2 years without a major coaster addition, aside from the small period between 2005 and 2011 when they had to cancel one of their coasters due to permit issues and the chain was going through financial struggles and bankruptcy. 2020 would have been the year New England was due for a coaster, but nothing new was announced. The park was already going on one of the longest coaster gaps in its history, and then the world shut down. Had Six Flags New England originally been in the cards for a new coaster in 2021, they would have gotten one a year later, having it delayed to 2022, but there was a new CEO in town and there was no sign of a new coaster on the horizon. Salim Basul then took over the company, and 2023 didn't really bring any major additions to the Six Flags chain at all. Then came 2024, and once again, no new coaster for New England. I think there are one of 2 possible explanations for why Six Flags New England hasn't really been getting any major additions recently. Before I get to that though, I wanted to take the time to thank you for watching my videos on this channel. If you enjoy my content, it would mean the world to me if you could subscribe. I've got an insane video coming to the channel really soon that you're not going to want to miss. It's been over a year in the works and I'm not going to release it until it's 100% ready, but when I do, you're going to love it. I've also got a bunch of major documentary projects I'm working on, so please subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Subscribing takes just a second on your end, but to me it means the world. When I first started this channel, I never imagined it would be so successful, and I really appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you for watching. It could very well be that Six Flags New England is no longer performing as much as Six Flags wanted it to, and Six Flags no longer feels the need to invest into this park. It could also be that the park doesn't have much competition and the chain doesn't feel the need to invest here in the short term when some of their other parks are in desperate need of a new coaster. If the chain is giving up on New England, then this park really has quite a sad future. Six Flags New England could really be in trouble, and it could even be another few years before we'd see any sign of a new coaster coming. However, I think it's a little more likely that the second reason is the correct one. Six Flags hasn't been opening too many major coasters, and though they are opening new coasters in 2024, they are only opening 3, 2 of which are smaller coasters and the other they got a good deal on. 2025 looks more promising for the Six Flags chain when it comes to new coasters, and they already confirmed they'd be spending between $220 to $250 million on new capital. 2025 will likely bring a bunch more attractions, and the Six Flags chain will likely continue the regular consistent investment in 2026 and beyond. It makes a lot of sense that Six Flags would decide to temporarily put New England on hold, not giving them a new coaster for a while as they catch up on giving some of their other parks coasters. There are a lot of other parks that need new coasters more than Six Flags New England, and with New England having barely any competition, it would make sense to push their investments over to other parks that need it more in the short term. I really hope this is the case with New England, and I think the park will get a new coaster in the next 2 years. I think Six Flags Mexico is in a similar boat to Six Flags New England in the sense that it has little competition, and it seems Six Flags is temporarily holding back investment to these parks as they catch up with some of their other parks. The new Six Flags merger will have a massive effect on Six Flags New England and many other parks. Some of the parks will be major winners and some will sadly be big losers. Click here to watch my video on the winners and losers of the Six Flags merger. It's one of my best videos and it's one you're definitely gonna enjoy. Thanks for watching. See ya next time.